Hello everyone, this is Benny, and this is Benny's baby buggy. Hi Papa. So I'm gonna do a little analogy for you guys that can help you possibly with some things. You'll get it after I start. And this is very versatile, so you can use all kinds. Oh, the wheels are sticking. You can use all kinds of examples, like the mother and the father were bad. The baby was injured at birth, or okay. So this is the analogy. You're in the park and you are taking everyone has their baby buggies and everyone has their babies. And when a baby is born, now this can go, like I said, a million different ways for anything you want to insert in, I don't have it all quite figured out, but maybe it'll come as I go. So we're all at the park with our babies. And babies, when they're born, they have to go through a process. They drink milk, then they graduate to baby food, then they graduate to rolling over, then they graduate to crawling, then they graduate to walking, then running, then, solid food, etc., etc. So we know all that. And that is just for the normal average baby. Now, and this is the normal average parents. But if you have some other kind of parents that aren't average, you'll know what I mean, where you can insert stuff in here, the differences. So for now, we're talking about normal parents. They know the stages their babies are going through, and their babies are normal, and they're going through the different stages in a normal, timely manner. But all you guys are at the park with your baby buggies, with your babies, and all of a sudden, yes, Papa, all of a sudden, a lady walks up with her 10-year-old in her buggy. Her 10-year-old is in the buggy, and it's sucking on a bottle. You might kind of know where I'm going with this, but I'm gonna expound upon Jesus, and he's the one seeing it all. So anyway, you are seeing this woman, man and woman, whatever, with their 10-year-old, and their 10-year-old is on milk, and he can't really walk, run, play, fall down, play with kids their own age, gets bumped and bruised and scratched and picked on, and all of life's woes as we grow. And so, as your peers see you, some peers might be angry and want to report you. Some of the peers, Papa, or Dexter, come. Oh, I'm sorry, Dexter. Come here, Dexter. So anyway, come. It's okay. So, what's the matter? I'll get you something in a minute. Okay, let me think of where I'm going with this. So, you're seeing this 10-year-old, Baba. I call everybody Papa, I think. This 10-year-old, okay, and Benny doesn't like being picked up, so he's not going to appreciate me taking him out of this thing if he gets sick of it, which he doesn't. But anyway, so you got a 10-year-old sucking on the milk, and it can't walk. He's not going through the normal stages that he should be. And maybe it's his parents' fault. Maybe the 10-year-old has been wanting, but they won't let him. Maybe the 10-year-old, because we're all born different. Some of us are more feisty than others. We're going to fight our parents, let me walk, let me get out of here. Some might go along with it because they don't know any better, or they're whatever. Let's just expound upon that in your own personal analogies. So my main issue here with this is Jesus gave us this pattern of birth and growth and consumption, and then giving back and learning, and through, as you get older, they get meaner. Maybe we're talking normal now. Maybe somebody was raped as a child. Maybe, some really bad things happened. But like I said, when I'm finished, maybe you're going to understand. So you got a 10-year-old that is, now I'm not thinking through if it's a saved or unsaved, but my thing is for discipleship. So you can kind of get this main core bones and put your own flesh on it. So you are a 10-year-old Christian, and you're sitting here saying, oh, my life is falling apart. Nothing is going right. Everything goes wrong for me. And you maybe only read your Bible a little bit, or you talk to God or pray just a little bit. And because you're on milk at 10 years old. And you're also, imagine you are in a baby buggy, strolling. Now, whether your parents are here or not, you're strolling through this war zone. There's fighting, there's machine guns going off, bombs blowing up. And you're being pushed in the middle of this, which is this baby bonnet on, a pacifier in your mouth. Maybe your parents put the little bike helmet on you. Like, okay, it's protected. No, that's none of the armor. That's only your helmet of salvation. So then Jesus, though. Jesus is up there like all those parents in the park with babies in their buggy at normal baby age. Jesus is up there going, darn, I love my child, but she's not eating my word. She's not learning, and she has no armor. She has no shield of faith to fight the fairy dart. She has no shield of faith to have faith in the sword, to have faith in her helmet, to have faith in the belt of truth, because she's walking around going, oh, I don't know if that's true or not, but, and she's falling to every wind of doctrine. So Jesus, the humans are the example that he put here with parents that are normal, that should be, nurturing this newborn up into a grown child and adult. And so, but, okay, so anyway, Jesus is just kind of saying, I want to help you, but you're never going to learn until you go through it, number one. And number two, until you start eating baby food and meat. Well, they don't talk about baby food. It just goes from milk to meat. So he will answer your prayers. But I really don't think he's a fan of answering prayers to a 10-year-old sucking on a baby bottle that refuses to crawl, walk, run. Do you see what I mean? So he's not like against you. He's not punishing you. He's not hating you. He hasn't abandoned you. You've abandoned him. So the verse says, many are called, but few are chosen. And people go, oh, maybe I'm not chosen. Maybe I'm not chosen because my life sucks. And maybe you're a strong Christian and you're faithful and full of faith. And a lot of crap's coming down on you. Maybe he wants you to learn extra more because, okay, I'm digressing. But anyway, so where was I? He is giving us, it's like you as a parent, you're like, well, I told you how to walk up to the store. I told you to run from that danger. I told you to, and see, your parents the whole time are trying to tell you. It's all an imagery, just like marriage on earth. Marriage on earth is imagery. It's the most sacred thing of everything because it's an imagery of our marriage, okay? And then, yeah, so the human normal life of a, you got to let your baby have the you can't raise them in a cellophane bubble wrap. So, yeah, do you get where I'm going? So Jesus, when you're praying these prayers about all this, and he's just up there going, but please, would you just get off the milk? I cannot pull you around in a baby buggy all your life. I love you, and I chasten those whom I love. He says it right there. I chasten those whom I love. So, if you want to use any other scenario, like it could be true, your parents were crap, okay? Your parents were abusive. You call a spade a spade. Jesus did it. He called them brood of vipers. You whitewashed sepulchres. You of your father the devil. Even some Christians, when they're not speaking correctly, like they might be speaking at you going, that wasn't from God. Oh, that dream wasn't from God. You say, get thee behind me, Satan. And you're not calling that brother or sister Satan, but it's this principality and powers of the air where none of us are exempt. None of us are really immune. We can have that happen sometimes and we don't speak the way, but actually that might be blasphemy, because whenever you are saying something that isn't God, that was God, because God is sovereign and nothing is a coincidence unless you were foolish, disobedient, and you caused it. So, or you allowed the enemy, and God's like, well, I'm hands off because they're in that playground. But he can intervene. So you can put your own example, and then, your parents didn't, you can even get more intellectual with it and be like, okay, what would that resemble? The baby didn't ask to be born. So maybe you can correlate that somehow to being born again. Well, actually, this is about being born again. When you're born again, are you a 10-year-old Christian, a 20-year-old Christian? You are trying to do it yourself. You won't be taught. Oh, I'll learn. I'm going to do my own shoes. I'll tie my own shoes, but you won't let anybody teach you tie your own shoes. And, to me, this makes sense, but I can't totally expound upon it because I got to do some stuff around here. I got off early, and I haven't honestly thought a bunch about it, but I did think about, I think Jesus gave me this idea, and Jesus, all I'm saying is, Jesus is up there allowing us to get bumps, bruises, scrapes, and the more fruit you bear, whether that fruit is like whatever God's calling the fruit could be nobody sees it but one person, and that's fruit. Maybe a bunch of people see it, and that's fruit. And then he's gonna whack that vine down to the ground. so it can bear more fruit. And that's a scary verse. But if you get in the habit of focusing on that and keep your word open and mulling over it and putting yourself in that, you know, and of course after I do these videos I think of other stuff. So, and I tried to do a pinned comment and then it asked me these weird questions like sign in or something, and I ain't going through that. I don't like technology. So if that helped anybody, whether you're a 10-year-old that's not in a baby buggy, it's not only about the 10-year-olds in a baby buggy that shouldn't be in a baby buggy. Even so, and you're not in the baby buggy, and something's happening, and you're a little confused because you thought you had all the other tests figured out, why? I mean, maybe you're very mature and you're still like, but God, I don't see how any good will come out of this. And some of this stuff we'll never know until we get up there. That's why also another thing about bad parents, that is sad. That's a very sad thing. And you call a spade, but you still have to forgive them and get over the bitterness as a steady process if you need to, however long, and forgive them, because in heaven, we're going to understand why. Has anyone ever read the book, The Shack? You have to read that book. And if anybody ever wants encouragement on this kind of thing, it's a guy named Kyle, Kyle, Kyle Idleman. And his videos, I think, are very old, like 12 years old, because I used to watch him on TBN, and I looked him up the other day. It's called, well, if you look it up like this, it's hard to find. You gotta say Kyle Idleman, fan or follower, and you might find it better that way on YouTube. Oh, but the true name of it is called Not a Fan. Not a fan. Not, you're not a fan. So it's in quotes. Not a fan. F-A-N. And he does talk about all this. He talks about trials while you're a follower. And it used to be like little movie skits, like 30 minutes or an hour, I don't remember. And then some are him talking. So I think the oldest ones, when they first came out, were like movies where a woman is in a car accident and I think her daughter died. And it's kind of like in a group of friends. So there's like 3 or 4 husbands and wives as friends, and one is going through cancer and she's dying. And I don't think there's any miracles in this. Okay? So it's being an example of what it's like when there is no miracle. I mean, you can't scare me with heaven. I don't care if I get murdered. God knows my weaknesses, and I'm not going to say them out loud. But I'm not afraid to die. I'm only afraid of, and I'm not afraid I'm going to go to hell, because I'm not. I'm not going to go to hell. And okay, so, but there's a certain way I don't want to die. And I've probably said it out loud many times, but I don't want to, keep on at it. It's not a good thing to do. But anyway, yeah. So, and I've never had kids, so I don't know the pain of losing a child. I've lost a mother to cancer, and I told her many times, I would take your place 1,000 times, Mommy, because she was afraid. She just really liked life, and she wasn't as close to him, because some of us, now she was an excellent prayer. She could pray really, really well. I'm not good at that. But I can talk to God. Anyway, she just didn't like doing it. She didn't like to read it and pray, and she more or less liked worrying. And there's another Bible verse in Psalms that says, trust not in oppression. Now, I'm not sure about what they're all talking about, but what it spoke to me is there are certain people that feel more comfortable being afraid, being scared, being oppressed. They think it's cool, as in, woe is me, poor me. And not that they're consciously doing pity party me. They just feel like that's just more comfortable. Let me worry about this. Let me worry about that. Should I stock up? Should I do this? You know, I had a friend like that. And she was a Christian. Oh, but what about this? I'm like, do you believe in pre-trib or not? Stop listening to all these winds of doctrine, and now you're going, oh, well, maybe it's 3 days of darkness, and maybe it's this, and I'm like, I can't talk to you anymore. You're not learning. You're not listening. Every time I show you grace and I try to console you day after day, week after week, I'm tired of this. You don't want to learn. You want to be afraid so you can worry about something. So bye. Bye-bye. That's not edifying. You can help somebody. But if you discern that they don't want the help, they want to trust in oppression. They want to. You can tell. The Holy Spirit will tell you it's time to leave. And I am not a people reader. I got sisters that I can't. I will treat everybody the same unless you look like you're a mass murderer. And you're dangerous. But I will treat everyone the same until, not the first time you open your mouth, but maybe sometimes. But after a while, I'll get to know you-ish. And I'm like, you are not of the caliber. Anyway, so you gotta get away. The Bible tells you many times, turn around and run, turn around and run, turn around and run. Because I was collecting these Bible verses, you guys, because I was in warfare. There was something else I was going to say about warfare, because it was about when I said in my other video I couldn't walk. Well, I thought it was like I was fighting God. I'm like, you got to bless me. You got to bless me. I'm not going to let go until you bless me. Like Joseph did, and the angel or God touched his hip, and it was about an Airbnb. I think I mentioned that already. I've got my house as an Airbnb, and nobody was really biting because they don't show you, right? So anyway, it's just all a wicked game with these people. So to avoid having to come out to Texas and do my job, I would rather have a job there. So I'm like, yeah, God, this is you. I know it's you. You told me to do this. You told me to do this. You sent Libby, my sister, to help me, and she blessed my socks off, redoing my house with the furniture and everything. She came out, we shopped, there's another sister, and you're in this. It was way too easy. We found everything in like 2 days because she couldn't stay long. She stayed a week and then drove back. She drove a pickup. It was to a T him. And so I'm over here wrestling. I'm like, I don't have customers yet. And he touched my hip, like as in, stop. Stop it. This isn't the way you're wrestling me. I don't want you to, because it's a timing. Because I was saying, God, I know you know who's coming. you know who's coming, for how long, how many people. You already got them. You already got them waiting. You know the dates. You know it all. I'm not going to worry. I'm not going to worry. Meanwhile, I was running out of money and I needed to come back to Texas. And I did. But, I mean, I wanted that. Anyway, so, and it turns out it wasn't even my hip socket. It was internal shingles, which is very rare. And I would have never known. And you can't even be tested for internal shingles until it's flared up. It doesn't manifest as a rash or anything. So I had that all that time. I was seeing a chiropractor. They didn't do diddly. And I thought it was a joint. I had an MRI or CAT scan that showed a little arthritis. Wasn't causing stabbing where I couldn't walk. And it was also going up my arm when I opened my curtain. So, but I didn't know what it was. But I found out this year. I found out a month ago because of an eye thing. And the second visit to that eye doctor, he said, this is what this is. It's internal shingles. He didn't even catch it at first. He didn't catch it at first. And I said, so I looked it up, what it was. And it causes nerve stuff. So it was all nerve. And it was radiating up here. And if I moved my head a certain way, it would stab me. If my dog touched it, it would stab me. You know, so I'm digressing, but I hope. So that was a miracle that the doctor found that. Because if you let it go and you don't catch it within the 72 hours, which I never did, it can cause permanent nerve damage. And it kind of has, but I can walk and it flares up a little bit here and there. And he told me, he's testing me right now. So when I'm on this medication that's going to kill it, then when he gets me off of it, then if it manifests quicker, I'll get you out, babe. Okay, we're almost done. When it manifests again, he said you might have to be on it the rest of your life. And basically it's an antiviral. So, okay, God bless you guys. Hope all this helped with the baby buggy and the adult and the baby and the mature Christian and the whatever scenario you want to insert and tweak it around. But all you have to remember is Jesus is just up there going, I love you. I love you. And it breaks my heart to see this happening to you when it's unnecessary. Unnecessary. If it's your parents' fault, you can jump out of that buggy and rebel and say, no, I want to run, mommy or daddy. Or even as adult. And I know there's permanent damage mentally and psychologically too, but he can heal. Okay, bye. Recording will be